Well, you've heard a number of these folks mentioned, but I'm going to add to that. I made a list of everybody who's been involved in this project, bringing it to fruition in one way or another, and I came up with over 100 names. I'm not going to read all those names, but I'm going to try to cover everyone, all of our friends who we see here today, and go from there. Starting, of course, with the Louisiana Housing Finance Agency, Milton, Brenda, Louis Russell, Ursula Hamilton. You all are just such a class act, and we love working with you, and we appreciate very much your ongoing efforts to continue the cause of affordable housing in Louisiana. Doing great things. The Louisiana Office of Community Development, you heard from Robin Keegan, but I also want to recognize Tommy Latour. Tommy is a former military man, so he really keeps us on point for getting these projects closed. Tommy, you've done great work around the state, and it's a pleasure to work with you. Capital One Bank, you heard from Mr. Hemperly, but I also want to point out, and we've heard about William Callahan's fine work in getting this project financed, but also Laura Bailey and the Capital One team, Whit Neal, Dorian Butts, and Myrna Bailey. We want to thank all of you. It's been a terrific partnership so far. I'm going to try to hurry up because I know that you want to get to the goodies. Enterprise Community Partners really was an early supporter of ours in pre-development. And I want to thank Michelle Wetton, Tiffany Royster, who's with us today, Monica Gonzalez, and Aaron Weisner. The Greater New Orleans Foundation Community Revitalization Fund, we heard from Dr. Ruezga, Ellen Lee, and Liza Cowan. Thank you so much for your early vote of support. It gave us a tremendous boost to carry on our efforts and to make these things possible. You heard from Melissa Perceau with the Major League Baseball Players Trust. First Don Fair and now Melissa. We thank you for your long support of Volunteers of America, and we're very grateful to have you helping us here in New Orleans. Thank you. Entergy. In addition to Mr. Rice, I want to thank Patty Riddlebarger, who really believed in our vision, I think, from the outset. Jennifer Kazer, also, thank you so much, Jennifer, Patty, and the entire team for believing in our efforts and supporting our early operations. Dillard University, Walter Strong and Nick Harris. Nick is like a house on fire in the Gentilly neighborhood. He put so many things and people together to make good things happen, and Nick was the first person to really invite us into this community so that we could be part of the recovery. And Nick, we really appreciate your willingness to support. The Sugar Hill Neighborhood Association, oh, our dear friends, Deborah Joseph and Barbara Blackwell. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you all. Also, Donna Brown from Gentilly Heights East, and Lamona Chandler, Lower Gentilly. It's just been a great combination of all of the neighborhood associations to participate and to help us realize the vision here. Fred Myers, F.H. Myers Construction. Fred Myers, Ryan Myers, Rochelle Albright, Michael Walsdorf, who was the project manager in charge. There's Michael. I can't say enough good things about you. You guys just did a tremendous job. But I also want to thank the guys in the trenches, and literally trenches, because when we discovered we had to replace a bunch of drain lines and the slabs on the ground level, these guys were in the trenches. Blackjack Roberts, Dennis Sims, Robert Lambert, and then Becky Scully and Teresa Harris helped out in the office. So fine team at F.H. Myers, and we really appreciate your diligence. Fred, thank you for putting up with a picky owner who wouldn't stop making changes. Dow Oliver, the architect, who could not be here today, but Dow was a tremendous gentleman in working with us throughout the surprises that came up in this project. Steve Villavasso with Villavasso and Associates. I'm not sure if Steve's here. Steve did some tremendous work helping us in the permit phase. Keith Villery of Villery Town Planning. I know Keith is here. Keith is the artist behind these beautiful courtyard concepts that you see here. And I want everybody to notice this is actually a plan of the city of New Orleans street grid with the Mississippi River running through it. That idea and all of the fine landscaping here, which really made these courtyards such a wonderful place, was through the artistry of Keith. Thank you. Ladder and Bloom Property Management, Joe Papalardo, Laura White, Beth Ann Miles, Chris Riggs. You guys are tremendous. We have been very successful here. I especially want to thank Ms. Tennille Esno and Ms. Sion Robert, the site managers. Go ahead, wave your hands. Tennille and Sion are establishing, through their personality and their hard work, they are establishing exactly the spirit and the community that we dreamed to achieve here. And you two have been essential in making it happen. So thank you both. Almost done. FDG Creative. I know Stephanie Darden is here today from Orlando. FDG Creative was the one who helped us get the message out with billboards, with Facebook, with Twitter, any potential form of communications known to mankind. They really helped us largely in achieving the leasing success that we have. Our broker team, the dynamic duo of real estate brokerage in New Orleans, Don Randon and Larry Shedler. Guys, thank you. Back in the early days, we had this crazy idea of trying to buy this building that had been vacant since Katrina and bringing it back to life. And Don and Larry worked tirelessly with us. I also want to recognize the seller, the proud family of the former owner of the Chateau Carré Apartments, a gentleman named Benny Toledano. Benny owned this property for many, many, many years. And Benny passed away a few years ago, but this property had been well cared for since by his daughters and his wife. I want to recognize Miss Jackie Toledano, Suzette Becker, and Jill Schneider. It was a pleasure getting to know you all, and it means a lot to us when you say that we really did a fine job that Benny would be proud. So thank you for being here. Every tax credit transaction takes literally a gaggle of attorneys, and this is no exception. Mike Tusa, our general counsel, Cher Garner, Rick Richter helping us with acquisition, Kelly Longwell and Ben Guyver at Coates Rose, Ed Suffren, who is a fine attorney with Capital One, representing Capital One, is with us today. You know, it's hard to say when you're in the midst of these closing documents what it all means, but it's nice to be able to come out here and see this is what it's all about, and seeing the residents that are so happy in their new homes. I'm lost without my notes. Volunteers of America National Services, our partner behind the curtains, Mike King, you heard from. Mike, thanks to you and the fine team at National Services who've been with us all the way. Sean Bloom, Dave Bowman, Robert Gibson, Patrick Sheridan, and Debbie Terry is here with us today from National Services. Thank you for being here, Debbie. Also, Marcus Vivona and Colleen Connor. Volunteers of America, Greater New Orleans, I want to thank Jim LeBlanc for having the idea, the vision, and the determination to establish Renaissance Neighborhood Development after Katrina. First time something like this has been done in the country, where a local affiliate banded together with the national office. And thank you for doing that, Jim. Great staff, all my colleagues at the local affiliate office of Volunteers of America, you know who you are. But I also want to thank, like Milton said, he gets to take bows because of Brenda. I get to be up here because of the fine team at Renaissance Neighborhood Development.
But even more than that, I'm happy that Volunteers of America has worked with Dillard University to make for the vision that Dillard had right after Katrina, which is to build this up into a community that is supportive of the university. And I see that we have someone from Sugar Hill, and I'm sure there's someone from Indian Village, and I'm looking around. There are many, Gentilly Heights, okay. There are many neighborhoods in this area that have really put their heart and soul. And I'm really pleased that Volunteers of America came into the neighborhood, worked with those neighborhood organizations to make sure that what will be here is affordable housing, workforce housing, and that it also fits in with the vision that the neighbors have for this area, which is to build it into a community, a college community. So what we see here is a win-win situation. And I want to thank Volunteers of America for taking on this big piece, because it was a big piece. And I want to thank the neighbors for being open and working with them. And I think that we will see continued growth in Gentilly and in District D.
This is truly a day that the Lord has made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. This is a beautiful afternoon. You couldn't have picked a better day. I am Barbara Blackwell, Community Liaison for Gentilly Sugar Hill Neighborhood Association. And I'm here on behalf of Deborah Joseph, our president, who is out of town today and she couldn't be here with us. But believe me, her heart is here. She has worked entirely with Mr. Smeltz, with Ms. Seeley, and with Mr. LeBlanc in forging this whole thing forward. Our major concern here in Gentilly was that we could welcome people in, but we wanted to make sure that our quality of life was still the same.
It's important to note that Volunteers of America, the 16,000 member family of staff and volunteers across the country that make up Volunteers of America, is completely invested financially, emotionally, and spiritually in the recovery of New Orleans. And that's a personal commitment. You bet that's going to start. From the moment I saw Jim and Cheryl get off that bus back in East Texas, in Palestine, Texas, when they were literally migrating with over 100 clients, development disabled clients evacuated from group homes here in New Orleans, just searching for a place to be, just searching for a roof over their head after they had to leave their homes here, not knowing what the outcome was going to be of their homes here. That has an impact on you that changes your life forever. Changed their life forever. Our involvement and engagement here has changed our lives forever throughout the entire Volunteers of America family. And so I'm here to say mainly to you is you have our commitment. You have our commitment to see this all the way through. From 75% fully recovered in housing all the way over 100% fully recovered in affordable housing in this community. So thank you for allowing us to engage in this. Thank all of the speakers here today for what you've done to make this happen. It does take a village. It truly does take a village to make these recoveries take place. But you know what? We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
So many people I want to thank today, and I told Jim and Victor and Amber earlier today that you can take what was done between Volunteers of America, Renaissance, and the community and Council Lady, and we can take it and as a model to other places around the city, because this is a true partnership between a developer and the community. And a lot of thanks now, I'm going to tell you right now, goes to this lady right here, okay, Council Morrell. I told you once again, we're happy to have you here in the community. And at Dillard, we have faculty, students, and staff members that's living in Metairie. We love them to come back over here to live here at this beautiful courtyard. And we're just really excited about in 2003 and 2004, we rented out over 90 of these units for our students because we didn't have any place to go. So I was the manager that came over here. So look, I can tell you what it was like, you know, back in 2003, 2004, and it wasn't like this, okay? So this is beautiful. We're happy to have you in the community. We're looking for a lot of growth to go on in this community as we rebuild our campus with a community health center. But, you know, what we're doing here, Victor, I'm happy about it. I'm excited that you're living over here, and we can see something new for this entire Gentilly community. Thanks a lot.